Alex here with a high conflict child custody video on custody awards based on morals. You could go into the little things that people complain about each other, such as so-and-so's a liar, they're not a good person for whatever reason. But most of the time this comes to me in the context of a cheating spouse. People will say, how can a judge award custody to a cheating parent? Doesn't it show that they're dishonest or sneaky or insidious in some way? Maybe it does, but as I mentioned in the video, deserved custody or deserving custody, the courts, the statutes, the criteria for awarding custody to a parent don't mention anything in there about deserving custody, nor do they mention anything in there about a parent having cheated on their spouse. Now, some people will try to coach this in the whole, well, this person's a better parent because they're more honest and this person is not because they're a liar and they sneak around. Well, the problem with that is that, first of all, nowadays we have joint physical custody presumptions. And so it's not enough to say you're better. You have to say that the other parent is unfit in some way. And it's kind of a leap to go from the person is a liar and they cheat to the person is an unfit parent. Now, again, I know that with this video, it covers really all kinds of other small things people can complain about when it comes to morality. But the big one, the gigantic one that angers people is my ex cheated on me and she got custody. Or, same for the guy. People can't believe it because it's like they try to connect all of that karma and right and wrong and morality and law into just one big blob, but it's really two separate issues. The courts don't mix them up. They really don't. So that's the first issue, is that you have to show unfitness, and it's kind of a leap. The second issue is that there is an amount of trauma associated with depriving a parent of a physical custody. So they mentioned this in the case Mosley v. Figliuzzi, which I mentioned a bunch of times, and I cover it in a video. Take a look at modification trauma. I go into it in a lot of detail. You have to understand that there's another weight on the scale. You have the weight of person cheated and is not moral, and then you have the weight of child is going to be deprived substantial amounts of time of one of their parents, and that one is heavier. So as bad as it is that one parent is not very honest, the damage that a child suffers from not having that parent around is even more severe. So again, it's that whole comparative part of the equation. A lot of times I call it two or three dimensional. I think I call it three-dimensional thinking, because somebody who's not really thinking about all the different aspects and how they intersect and how one thing might outweigh another is really just going to focus on a very simple statement like, it's not fair that my ex got custody when she cheated on me and left. So it looks at one specific thing, claims it's not fair, and says, therefore, I should have won. But really, as I mentioned with those two examples, there's a lot more to it than that, and the judges are supposed to hash those things out. So I don't think this is going to be the example or the answer a lot of people wanted to hear, and especially since I pretty much just kind of killed that whole argument there. Um, uh, it is what it is. That's the legal system today. And as I mentioned, you should really watch, if this frustrates you, you should really watch Deserving Custody, because it really does come down to the criteria, the statutory criteria, and all of the statutory criteria cover what's in the best interest of the child. And those criteria aren't created based on what we in our head think is the best for the kids. It's created by the legislature. It's an actual list you actually have to go and read. And I actually do go through that list in a video called Best Interest of the Child, I think. So, I mean, there's a lot of references that in this video. Just to sort of navigate these videos of mine, you almost always have to watch 5, 6, or 7 of them to just get the whole picture of what I'm talking about, because these issues connect to each other in odd ways sometimes. And you can find it, I could find myself out on a very distant tangent if I don't stop myself. That's why I stop myself and refer to another video in case somebody needs to watch that before I just kind of wander off in that direction. Anyway, I feel like I've covered this now, and if anyone has any issues or anyone has any questions or comments on the content, which is that you really don't get a custody award based on morality. unless the morality intersects with those criteria, the best interest criteria. You don't really get an award based on that, and I think it's not only is it a huge waste of time, but if you focus too much on that in your own case, you could possibly lose, because you're not bringing up the issues that the court is actually going to want to hear, and the court's actually going to want to address. So don't spend too much time on that. The judges don't care because the law doesn't let them care. I mean, it's that simple. And sorry if that's not the answer some people wanted to hear in this video, but that's the answer that I have to give. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and I'll see you guys next time.